Transformers 1. When I first found out this movie was happening, I was not very excited. The premise of Optimus Prime and Megatron having their origin story seemed like a last-ditch effort. The first trailer did not do this movie any justice. I would say Transformers 1 jumpstarts this franchise. You see what I did there? But that first trailer did not do it for me. I was not a huge fan of the art style. I was not a huge fan of the way the world actually looked, and the story we were going to tell seemed more redundant than anything. It didn't seem innovative or new. I am so thankful to come on here and say I was completely wrong. Transformers 1 absolutely revitalizes this franchise and has now made me more excited than ever to see the future of Transformers. The performances were actually super solid. Everyone does a great job here. My absolute standout favorite performance has to be from Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime. This was something I was not expecting. I was expecting a very standard performance from Chris Hemsworth, but I was utterly surprised to see a great performance out of him.
He begins as Orion Pax, as a worker in the mines. This is his journey to becoming the all-powerful, all-knowing Optimus Prime.
Same thing goes for Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron.
And how D16 became one of the greatest arch nemesis of all time.
What a fantastic duo for this movie. In under 2 hours, this movie does more for the franchise than the Michael Bay movies ever did. And it's very impressive. The chemistry between the cast and these group of Transformers is amazing. Building that origin story, seeing Megatron throughout this movie, seeing the two paths start to diverge, and we see these characters and who they're going to become, it isn't lazy. I was very, very surprised that it wasn't lazy and just standard by the books, A, B to C. No, this movie took risks. It showed a bunch of different elements of the Transformers universe, and I think if you are a Transformers fan, you're going to be very impressed by this movie. I think it's going to open the door for a bunch of different things. I think if this movie does well, I think it had a $75 million budget. I think we're going to see a second one. I hope there's a plan for this movie and this franchise moving forward, specifically the Transformers 1 side of things. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the title. I don't think it does anything great or groovy. It's fine. But I think moving forward, the branding and the marketing could do a lot for this new part of the franchise. I know that right now they're doing the live action G.I. Joe crossover or whatever, because I think Transformers 1 is going to be compared to those films specifically, Into and Across the Spider-Verse, and of course Mutant Mayhem. Probably somewhere in between, someone's going to bring up Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and I think those are all great comparisons for this movie. And if that convinces you to go watch Transformers 1, yes, it's just as good as the other ones. I gave it a 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. I loved this thing. Yes, I'm absolutely glazing it because I love animated films and I love seeing them on the big screen, and this movie deserves to be seen on the big screen. Now, one little running joke that I absolutely adored in this movie is the Badassatron. It's amazing. It's so funny. I don't want to go beyond that.
The one I'm floating right now is Badassatron, which is actually pronounced Badassatron.
That's my favorite running joke in the entire film, but I'm walking out of it so impressed and ready for the next one. This movie is great. It has a lot of fantastic emotional moments. The set pieces, the action is phenomenal. It's very well directed. You know how in the Michael Bay Transformers movies, it kind of takes you out of it when they transform and you're watching the action and you're like, these are just gray things hitting each other. Transformers 1, things get a lot more clear in the direction and the action, and it's stunning to watch on the big screen theater. But there were two moments where I stood up going, wow, this is the best Transformers movie since the 90s animated movie. Okay, it's the best one since then. It is fantastic. Great emotional moments, great characters, a really cool group dynamic, a lot better performances than I was expecting, a clear, concise vision and direction, and the jump start that Transformers has needed for years has finally been delivered with Transformers 1. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. I'm Buddy from Buddy's Big Screen. I know we're doing the intro and the outro. This is crazy. But thank you so much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye.